Look at this image. This drone is going viral. I find it interesting. Those dimensions are on the internet, but this time it's going viral over there in China. A drone that someone builds with parts and with these 3D printers, and according to reports, it has some very interesting capabilities. Look, check it out. It can walk like a spider. It can launch little missiles. Of course, they're toys. It can fly. There it is. It can swim or move like a boat. See how it goes? It can swim. It can swim in sections. It walks like a spider. It climbs stairs. Look, it climbs stairs like a sort of off-road vehicle.
Very easily it can hide.
It can hide very easily. It's like, in the end, not a spider, but it flies. Wow. I don't know, a flying spider. Look, there it is, and it flies. It gets into the water. It's really crazy.
Like it flies low.
Someone designed it on the internet. He posted the process of how he came up with the idea, how he developed the concept. He made it. He created it in virology. I think that's what they call it. It's basically 3D printing. In the program, you have the freedom to create whatever you want, such as making glasses. Create an extraordinary design for the glasses frame. Yes, you can make this part of the headphones. I don't know. I mean, do very creative things. And if you know that this person has a special need for their headphones, well, you can make them a special headphone.
Well, and there are even bionic arms. I mean, for people that are printed.
That are printed, right? Exactly. So, well, it also has its negative side because there are people who have made weapons. Yes, weapons. Like everything, always like everything, there are always things that are positive, other things that are negative. But, well, the point is that this person went for it. With this development a while ago, the model is very interesting. They provided a complete explanation of their methodology. They show the kid who does this. They even show the cat, even the cat that helped him, the one who gave him the idea, you Angel. And, well, so there he goes, showing how he's putting everything together.
I don't know if they are.
His kids, you can see the little kids, they're doing it, but you know, they're little kids. But it's fine, kid. Yeah, he's really just a little kid. I see that one is either very young or the older brother, and the other one is the little kid. There are the three hands. The point is that they managed to do this project. And that's what I say. It's, how can I put it? It's
democratizing
a lot of technological advances. Currently, this is occurring in China, but it has already been observed in Mexico as well. In Colombia as well. In fact, it's typical for this to make the news, right? And that this 15-year-old kid does, who knows what kind of development or creates, who knows what kind of app, which becomes super interesting for this person or someone else, right? Do you remember that kid who started a drone company here in Mexico and then sold it in the United States for a fortune? Yeah, I mean, there is creativity and it's being seen more and more in other parts of the world because it's always been there. It's just that now there are more tools. Now there's more information. You just have to connect and look for information.
And there are a lot of forums where people support each other. There isn't something
like that. And
no, what's the mistake? No, look, you did this wrong. The cooperation is amazing.
But what Brita said in the previous note about this, Bill Gates, yes, the other one, what's his name? Leonardo da Vinci. I mean, and focusing, right? Really focusing on developing something you want to do and doing it, right? Actually carrying it out. So I find it at least very interesting, right? Being able to suddenly discover these little notes. Do you remember also? Some time ago, we talked about a kid who made a drone that had the propellers hidden. How was that one? Don't you remember?
Yes.
Right now, there are a lot of those, but at that time, it was unique and it also went viral and was talked about a lot. Nothing more was heard about that drone. The mention of the drone in that case caught my attention, though no further information was heard about it. Well, let's move on to another matter. Let's go to another important topic.
Well, Russia is stepping up. Well, in Russia, internet control in the country is intensifying. Access to Western apps is already being restricted, while they are starting to prepare to launch their own messaging platforms, just like WhatsApp. Just like China, which also has its own apps, because X and Facebook are banned there. Well, they also have their own apps, which are super controlled. The service they're going to launch in Russia is called Max, and it's already pre-installed on all smartphones sold in Russia starting
From September.
It has also increased speculation about Putin's plan to block what would be WhatsApp and Telegram.
Look, Telegram.
It has been fundamental for many Russian bloggers who share a lot of things about the war and also inside. The military themselves share a lot of things on Telegram. Well, it's going to be banned. The idea is to filter Russians into an online environment controlled by the state, which is easier to monitor and censor. Just like in China, where they remove the word Winnie the Pooh because they don't want it to be associated with the president, they're simply copying and pasting, which is remarkable. Let's proceed.
So let's move on to another topic. We have some reports, some shorts, and the others are already all connected. But let's listen to this message. This is, what's it called? This one. Don't tell me the name. I want to see if I remember on my own. It's not fair if you tell me. Is it Mike? Just say yes or no. Is it Mike? Mike Thompson, not Mike Nicholson, was not responsible. We appreciate it when people forgive us for forgetting names, but I don't remember. It's Jack Nicholson, not Mike Johnson or Mike Johnson Chihuahua. He is the one in charge, the president of the United States Congress. And, well, he went to the Wailing Wall over there in Israel, right? So let's see what the Spanish speaker is saying. So let's listen to the message he's giving over there.
Mike Johnson, the 56th Speaker of the House of Representatives in the United States. We are here with a delegation of members of the House. We are very grateful to be in Israel, especially on this day, recognizing the destruction of the two temples at two moments in history. But it is a very moving moment for us to be here at the Western Wall. We have offered our prayers, we have placed our notes in the wall as is traditional, and we are very moved by the hospitality of the people and the great love of Israel. Our prayer is that the United States will always stand by Israel and that we pray for the preservation and peace of Jerusalem. That is what the scriptures tell us to do. It is a matter of faith for us and a commitment that...
Well, there it is. That's the message from Mike Johnson while making this trip to Israel. And we're going to see a lot of politicians from the United States, congressmen, especially this August, visiting different countries because it's something. They often travel a lot for vacations in August. So let's say they go and check out, well, how do they influence international policies or find out how certain things are going? We'll probably see congressmen over there in Iran, in Ukraine. We'll likely see them in some Middle Eastern places, but probably not in Iran. But maybe it could be in some other area of the Middle East, the United Arab Emirates, maybe somewhere around that region. And, we'll see Congress talking about unusual things too, probably like the unidentified flying object topic and other issues that they'll surely address. The topic of Einstein won't be discussed for almost a month because everyone will be scattered. This also gives President Donald Trump a break as he wanted people to stop discussing this issue. So at least that pressure will ease a bit for now.
Exactly, but well, there are always people who keep bringing up the topic.
Of course, the topic. Well, let's move on to another matter, another important topic as well. Do we have any other image right now? Yes.
Just give him the watch. There it is.
Let's see. Let's find out what this Donald Trump is about. Let's see what he says. Yes, mathematics. Let's see.
A tremendous drop in drug prices. You know, we have reduced drug prices by 1,200, 1,300, 1,400, 1,500%. I'm not talking about 50%, I'm talking about 1,400, 1,500%, because we're going with the most favored nation policy. We want the same price that Europe gets. We want the same price that any other country gets. And over the years, 25, 30 years ago, that's when they started charging us a lot more. And I put an end to that, you know, with a letter you saw last week. So I think that's going to be an important point. I don't know how anyone could win an election if they're on the opposite side of that.
Let's see. That's very good. Yes, that's very good. Let's see. Let's look at the math. Let's look at the number. So then, which medication was worth it? Let's say a medication cost $10 minus 1,500%, which is what it says it's worth. So if you were going to buy a medication, let's say some aspirin for $10, they would have to pay you $140.
Exactly, that's how minus works.
And the other day, he said exactly the same thing about fentanyl. I mean, he was saying that now drugs, well, that the shipment of drugs had decreased. And all of this by 1.5%. So now they don't reduce it anymore. Now they don't receive it. Now they don't receive it. But now they sell it in other parts of the world. I mean, the other day, he also put a 25% tariff on fentanyl. And you think, how? How? You're going to put tariffs on something that's illegal? I mean, you'd have to get it through customs illegally. So can you really put tariffs on it? I mean, sometimes he just slips up. Yeah, Trump's math is pretty funny. Oh, well, maybe not. Obviously, you can reduce something by 1500% or even by 100%. It's possible to reduce it by various percentages, even up to 99%, although it likely won't happen. But anyway, now let's move on to the message from Tegu. Come on, well,
Today, I'm sharing this video. This is in response to the images that have been shared by Hamas.
Dear citizens of Israel, like you, I am horrified. I saw the terrible videos. Rom and Evia, I called the families. I hugged them in my own name, and they are also throwing up at headquarters. Apu, but the monsters of Hamas who surround them have thick arms. They have everything they need. They are starving them like the Nazis. And when I see this, I understand exactly. He doesn't want a deal. He wants to tear us apart through these terror videos, through the false propaganda of terror that he spreads all over the world. But we won't break. I am filled with terror. To eliminate Javi.
well, there it is. The matter is obviously a huge issue. What we were telling you a little while ago about the images of these hostages, they're shocking, very harsh, obviously. And it's true that, well, in the end, the Hamas members always appear well-nourished. I mean, not like the Palestinians, who have also been suffering from the situation due to the lack of aid. Israel does not allow them to enter. And also suddenly, well, Hamas also takes it for themselves. So either way. But the point is that, well, it's the population that's really suffering. And obviously also the hostages, the kidnapped people who have been there for a while now. It's been a terrible situation for nearly 2 years.
And well, this message did cause a lot of anxiety among the families of the hostages because Benjamin Netanyahu claims that he is seeking a decisive military victory.
And the forum of the hostages' families called it a scam.
These plans to expand the war by Netanyahu, who expressed this shock after seeing the videos. But for the families, they feel that he is not doing enough to get them out.
Exactly. Well, let's go to the comments.